The smell hit me first. Rotting meat mixed with something worse, something I couldn't name. My daughter's hand trembled in mine as we crouched behind the overturned truck. 3 of them shuffled past, dragging their feet through the ash-covered street. One stopped, its head tilted like a curious dog, and I swear, it smiled. That's when I knew. These things weren't just dead. They were something else entirely. What happens when the dead don't just rise but remember? Before we begin, if you enjoy dark horror stories that'll keep you up at night, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me what horror topic you want me to cover next. Your support keeps these nightmare fuel stories coming. The hospital doors groaned as Elena pushed them open, her flashlight cutting through the thick darkness. Maya clutched her mother's jacket, her small fingers digging into the fabric like claws. The child hadn't spoken in 3 days, not since they found her father's body in the basement of their home. His chest torn open, his eyes still blinking. "Stay close," Elena whispered, though she knew the command was unnecessary. Maya hadn't left her side since that morning. The lobby was a graveyard of its former self. Wheelchairs lay on their sides, medical charts scattered across the floor like fallen leaves. Dried blood painted abstract patterns on the walls. Some handprints, some drag marks, some just explosions of red that told stories Elena didn't want to read. They moved through the reception area, Elena's hunting knife held steady in her free hand. She'd never been good with weapons before all this, before the world ended, before the dead started walking with purpose and hunger, and something that looked disturbingly like intelligence. The emergency room was their best bet. Thick doors, multiple exits, maybe some supplies if they were lucky. Elena had learned that luck was a currency more valuable than gold now. You spent it carefully, and you never, ever took it for granted. As they walked down the corridor, Maya suddenly stopped, her head tilted, listening to something Elena couldn't hear. "Baby, what is it?" Maya's eyes were wide, reflecting the flashlight beam like a cat's. She pointed toward the stairwell at the end of the hall. Elena heard it then, a sound that made her blood freeze. Humming. Not the mindless groaning of the infected, not the wet gurgling sounds they made when they fed. This was deliberate, melodic, a lullaby Elena recognized from her own childhood. "Hush, little baby, don't say a word." The voice was female, cracked and damaged, but carrying a tune with eerie precision. Elena grabbed Maya and pulled her behind a nurse's station, extinguishing the flashlight. In the darkness, her heart hammered so loud she was certain it would give them away. The humming grew closer, footsteps, slow, dragging but measured. Not the shuffle of the mindless ones. These steps had rhythm, purpose. Through the gap in the desk, Elena saw her. The woman wore a hospital gown, now brown with dried blood and filth. Half her face was gone, revealing bone and teeth in a permanent grin. But her remaining eye, God, that eye was alive. It scanned the hallway with predatory focus, and when it passed over their hiding spot, Elena could have sworn it paused. Could have sworn it saw them. "Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird." The creature continued down the hall, her song echoing off the walls. Maya buried her face in Elena's chest, her small body shaking. Elena held her breath, counting seconds, waiting for the sound to fade. It didn't. The humming stopped. The footsteps stopped. And then in the suffocating silence, the woman's voice rang out clear and cold. "Elena." The sound of her name froze Elena's veins. Not possible. These things didn't talk. They didn't remember. They certainly didn't know names. "I know you're here, Elena. I can smell your fear. Tastes like copper and desperation." Maya's fingernails dug deeper into Elena's arm, drawing blood. The pain kept Elena grounded, kept her from spiraling into the panic that threatened to swallow her whole. How did it know her name? She risked a glance over the desk. The infected woman stood in the center of the hallway, her head swiveling slowly like a broken security camera. The exposed half of her skull gleamed in the moonlight, filtering through the shattered windows. "You left me, Elena. You left all of us, locked that door and ran." The memory hit Elena like a physical blow. The evacuation center, the horde breaking through the western fence. The impossible choice: stay and die with the others, or grab Maya and run through the service exit. She'd made her choice in 3 seconds, had lived with the guilt for 3 months. But how could this thing know? How could it remember? The door, Elena, remember? You heard us screaming, you heard me begging you to come back, but you just ran. The creature's voice carried emotions that shouldn't exist in a corpse. Anger, betrayal, pain. Elena's mind raced. The news reports before the communications went dark had mentioned mutations, variants. Some of the infected showing signs of retained memory, problem-solving skills, even speech. But those were just rumors. Urban legends born from fear and desperation. Except they weren't. Come out, Elena, let's talk about guilt, about sacrifice, about what you did to save that little girl. Maya's whole body trembled now. Elena made a decision. She whispered directly into her daughter's ear. When I say run, you go to the emergency room. The red door's at the end of this hall. Don't stop. Don't look back. Wait for me there. Maya shook her head violently, tears streaming down her cheeks. I'll be right behind you, baby, I promise, but I need you to be brave for me. Can you do that? A tiny nod. Elena kissed her daughter's forehead, tasting salt and dirt and the ghost of the life they used to have. Then she picked up a bedpan from beside the desk and hurled it down the opposite corridor. The metal clattered against the floor, echoing through the darkness. The infected woman's head snapped toward the sound. For 3 heartbeats, she remained still, processing. Run, Elena breathed. Maya bolted. Her small feet pounded against the linoleum, and Elena was right behind her, knife raised, praying to gods she'd stopped believing in months ago. The creature turned. Its remaining eye locked onto them, and it smiled, a horrible, knowing smile that showed too many teeth. There you are. It moved fast, too fast. The shambling walk was gone, replaced by a predatory sprint that no dead thing should possess. Elena shoved Maya forward and spun to face the creature, her knife intercepting the grasping hands that reached for her throat. The blade sank into the woman's chest, no reaction, no pain, just that smile growing wider. You can't kill what's already dead, Elena. The creature grabbed Elena's wrist, twisting until something cracked. The knife clattered to the floor. Cold fingers wrapped around Elena's throat, squeezing with impossible strength. Through the haze of oxygen deprivation, Elena saw Maya standing in the doorway of the emergency room. Not running, not hiding, just watching. Her small face expressionless, almost curious. Maya, run! Elena choked out. The creature's face came close, its breath hot and rotten. Such a devoted mother. Tell me, Elena, what happens when devotion isn't enough? Darkness crept into the edges of Elena's vision. Her lungs screamed for air. The creature's fingers dug deeper, and Elena could feel her windpipe beginning to collapse. This is it, she thought. This is how it ends. Then Maya moved. The little girl walked forward, not away from the danger, but toward it. Her small hand reached into her pocket and pulled out something Elena hadn't seen in months. A lighter. Mark's lighter. The one he'd carried every day of their marriage, the one Elena thought was lost with everything else. Maya's thumb rolled the wheel once, twice. A small flame flickered to life. The creature's head turned toward the child, curiosity replacing rage for just a moment. What's this? The little one wants to play? Maya didn't speak. She simply held the lighter up to the creature's hospital gown. The fabric caught instantly, dry and soaked with old fluids that burned like gasoline. The fire raced up the woman's body in seconds, and the grip on Elena's throat released as the creature stumbled backward, confusion flashing across its ruined face. But it didn't scream. Instead, it laughed. Smart girl, it said, flames consuming its torso. But fire won't save you, none of you. We're evolving, Elena. Learning. And there are so many of us now. So many who remember what we lost. What was taken from us. Elena grabbed Maya and ran, the creature's laughter following them down the corridor even as its body crumbled into ash and bone. They burst through the emergency room doors, and Elena immediately began shoving equipment against the entrance. Gurneys, medicine carts, anything heavy enough to slow down whatever might follow. Maya stood in the center of the room, still holding the lighter, the small flame reflected in her dark eyes. Baby, Elena gasped, still clutching her bruised throat. Where did you get that? Maya's voice, when it finally came after 3 days of silence, was small and broken. Daddy gave it to me, before he changed. He said I might need it. To burn away the bad things. Elena pulled her daughter close, feeling the child's heart racing against her chest. "You saved us. You were so brave." "Mama?" Maya's voice cracked. "Daddy tried to talk to me before he changed all the way. He said things that didn't make sense." Elena's blood ran cold. "What kind of things?" "He said he could still feel love, even after. He said it hurt worse than dying. He said..." Maya's small body shook with sobs. "He said to run from anyone who talks, because the ones who remember are the ones who hate the most." Elena held her daughter tighter, her mind reeling. Mark had been infected for less than an hour before Elena did what she had to do. But if he'd started to change, started to retain his memories while his body died, she couldn't think about that now, couldn't process the horror of what that meant. Outside the barricaded doors, new sounds emerged. Footsteps, many of them, and voices, dozens of voices, all speaking in perfect unison. "Elena, we know you're in there. We remember you. We remember everything." Maya looked up at her mother. Terror and exhaustion etched across her young face. "What do we do?" Elena checked her remaining weapons. One hunting knife, 3 bullets in a pistol she'd never been good at firing, and a lighter that had already burned away their one advantage. The voices outside grew louder, more insistent, and underneath them that same lullaby from before, now sung by a chorus of the dead. "Hush, little baby, don't say a word." Elena made a decision. She couldn't protect Maya here, couldn't fight off an army of infected that thought and planned and remembered. But maybe, just maybe, she could buy her daughter time. "Maya, listen to me very carefully. There's a ventilation shaft behind that supply cabinet. It leads to the roof. I need you to climb through it." No, Mama, I won't leave you. You have to." Elena cupped her daughter's face, memorizing every detail. "You have to survive. For Daddy, for me, for everyone we've lost." The doors began to buckle. The barricade wouldn't hold much longer. When you get to the roof, there's a fire escape on the north side. Follow it down and head for the woods. Keep moving until dawn. Don't trust anyone who talks. Don't trust anyone who remembers. Can you promise me that? Maya's tears fell hot against Elena's hands. "I can't do this without you." "Yes, you can. You're stronger than you know. You're my brave girl." The doors exploded inward. Dozens of infected poured through, their eyes all locked on Elena with that same terrible intelligence, that same burning hatred. Elena fired twice, dropping 2 of them. The 3rd bullet she saved. "Go!" she screamed. Maya ran. Elena heard the cabinet scraping, heard her daughter's small body climbing into the shaft, heard the metal grate closing behind her. The infected circled Elena like wolves. One of them, a man in a police uniform, stepped forward. "Touching, really. But did you think we'd let her escape?" He smiled. "We've got friends on the roof. Friends everywhere. This world belongs to us now. We are the evolution. And you're just food with guilt." Elena raised the pistol to her own temple. "Then you'll starve tonight." The policeman's smile faded. "Wait." Elena pulled the trigger. The last thing she heard was Maya's scream from somewhere above, and the sound of the infected officer saying, "Find the girl. She's seen too much. She knows too much. We can't let her tell the others that we're not just monsters anymore." Then nothing. Just darkness. And in that darkness, Elena could have sworn she heard her own voice humming that lullaby, getting ready to hunt the only thing she'd ever truly loved. Maya never made it to the woods. 3 weeks later, a survivor group found her in a church basement surrounded by the bodies of infected she'd burned. She didn't speak, didn't cry, just sat there holding her father's lighter, flicking it on and off, on and off, on and off. The survivors took her in, asked her questions she wouldn't answer. They wanted to know how a 7-year-old could have survived alone for that long, how she'd managed to outsmart the evolved infected that were taking down trained soldiers. She never told them about the voices, about how she could hear her mother's voice every night, singing that lullaby just outside whatever shelter she'd found. Never told them how she'd learned to think like them, to predict their movements, to understand their hunger. Never told them that sometimes, late at night, she wondered if she was still fully human anymore, or if watching her father change, watching her mother die, watching the world burn had changed something fundamental inside her. something that made her more like them than she wanted to admit. The lighter sparked again in the darkness, and somewhere in the ruins of the city a woman's voice sang softly, "Hush, little baby, don't say a word." The dead were evolving, learning, remembering, but maybe the living were too. And maybe that was the most terrifying thing of all. So what do you think? Could you survive in a world where the monsters remember who you were? Where they hunt you with purpose and intelligence? Where the line between living and dead gets blurrier every day? Drop a comment below and tell me what horror topic you want me to explore next. Serial killers? Paranormal encounters? Urban legends that might be real? Your suggestions fuel these dark tales. And if this story gave you chills, hit that subscribe button. There are more nightmares where this came from, and trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Sleep well tonight if you can, because somewhere out there, something that used to be human is humming your name.